Today I'm going to be servicing my 47RE transmission. Same process goes for the 48RE. Here's some of the things I've purchased to do the service. We've got a drain bin here to get the old fluid out. We've got a thin funnel like this. Plastic scrapers to help remove the pan gasket, old pan gasket. Of course, we got a new pan gasket in here. We got a transmission filter. We've got brake cleaner to clean out the trans pan. We've got 7 quarts of ATF plus 4, but it'll probably only take somewhere between 5.5 and 6. But I've got 7 quarts just in case it wants to take a little extra. Okay, you're going to want to use a 13mm. Here's the trans pan. Lots of bolts all around the trans pan. The best thing to do is to try to unbolt one corner of the trans first and then work your way across, and that way the fluid that's sitting in the bottom of the pan can just drop out that one corner. That, in this case, this corner right here is what I'm going to do. Untorque these 13mm bolts, and with your catch pan, allow the trans fluids to gracefully drop off. Right, I've cracked just enough bolts loose that it's starting to spill. I'm just kind of letting this go for now because the pan is catching all the fluid, and the fluid doesn't look very good. I mean, it looks okay, but it doesn't look very good right now. As you can see, the catch pan did not get it all, even with this extra bucket I got. But yes, this is a messy job, and unless you got a drain plug on your trans pan, it's going to be rough. So here's the bottom of the transmission. I have to be very careful. It's kind of muddy under the truck. Muddier than I thought it was going to be. There's your filter right in front there. That's going to take a T30 Torx. Here's the rest of the trans. Things look okay in there, as far as I can tell. Electronics are all still decent shape. Let me bring you out here and show you the pan. Alright. So the gasket came off very easily. It just popped right off. So no need to worry. Well, we'll still clean this up. But here is the magnet. That's decently thick with fine stuff, but no chunks, which is really good news. No chunks in here at all. There's the trans fluid. That look, I don't know, does that look burnt to anyone? I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but this trans and this trans fluid also have a ton of miles on them. So I'm just searching around the pan here. Interesting edge there. I think that's from factory. Everything's in decent shape. Now, what I'm going to do is clean this up with some brake cleaner and a towel, and get this thing looking good as new. There's our magnet cleaned off with the towel, and our trans pan looking good, and, you know, scraping them, any of the residue around the outside here off. And we'll hit it with another round of brake clean, and then we'll put it back together. Right here where there's this little nub, that's where your magnet goes. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what I saw in the pan. Just fine shavings, and that's a lot of miles. So no chunks. That's what I wanted to see. All right, so the gasket box comes with 2 gaskets, this kind and this kind. You want the kind that's got the little bend around here and this one slant, and that'll fit on there. If it doesn't look like it's going to fit, flip it completely over and then try and fit it on there. This one's pretty interesting. It's plastic. This is not a rubber gasket. Never leaked. So, I don't know. That's a decent gasket. Some gaskets are made of cork. I would not recommend those. Get a rubber one, or even one of these plastic ones. Alright, here's my filter removing screwdriver. It's actually a T20. Torx. And these are the screws that would come out of the filter. Here's your new filter. Here is the old filter. With this rubber gasket, each bolt has been pushed through, and it holds it. It actually forms a seal around that bottom thread, and that allowed me to put all the bolts through the gasket prior to attempting to put the pan up, which actually makes life a lot easier. Got my torque wrench set up to do 13 foot-pounds on the trans pan bolts. I've threaded them in a little bit, but I haven't torqued them down. Switching over to the torque wrench for that. After this, we'll go up and put new trans fluid in. Here goes the new fluid through this skinny funnel. I'm going to put at least a few quarts in before I actually start the truck and try to fill it up. Alright, I put 3 quarts in. Now I'm just going to check the fluid level, see what it is. And if it's, hang on. If it's low, it's going to need more, and it will need more. But you don't want to overfill it, so check your fluid level after every quart, after 3 quarts is what I would recommend. Here is where we've gotten so far. 5 quarts have gone in. The dipstick indicates that it looks perfect, but what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and fire the truck up, and we're going to adjust to see if we need to add any more. We'll keep checking the level, add more as needed, and then I'll get back to you with the next step. As soon as, with the truck running, that levels look good, we're going to shift through the gears. That's the next step. All right, fuel or oil level did not change after a minute of idle. So here we go. Reverse. Neutral. Neutral will actually drain a lot of the fluid down to the pan. I actually ran the truck in neutral for about 30 seconds to a minute before I did the trans fluid change. Drive. You want to do second and first as well. Alright. Doesn't want to do second. Shut the door. Alright, well, I guess we'll settle for reverse, neutral, and park, drive. And I'm going to cycle through this a few times. Shifter does shift into second and first, but okay. Now I'm going to go out and check the fluid level again and top it off if necessary. A little extra. We're going to do about half a quart. Okay, here's what you need to know. So it ended up taking 6 quarts in the end. With it running and you shifting through the gears, made enough room for a couple more quarts, and 6 quarts was perfect for me. Some people will be around 5.5, some people might even be 6.5 in the end. So recommendation is put 4 quarts in and then add a half a quart at a time until, you know, it stops, level stops dropping when you shift. So I'm just going to take it on test drive now, and that's the last thing. So hope this helps someone. I think the job went pretty smoothly today, so have a good one.